Good evening and welcome to the January 28th meeting of the Murfreesboro City School Board. We're glad to have those of you that are with us tonight. We're glad to have those that are at home watching on TV. We're going to ask you to stand in a moment for our pledge led by Kiala Lamone, a 6th grade student from Salem Elementary, Darcy Hampton, a 5th grade student at Salem, and Xavier Duffy, a 6th grade student at Hobgood. After our pledge, we want to remember Nancy Duggan, who is a former teacher in Murfreesboro City Schools and also a former member of our school board, whose husband passed away yesterday, Ivan Duggan, who was a longtime educator in Rutherford County, principal at Holloway. And we want to remember that family during our moment of silence. But first, let us stand for our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now our moment of silence. Thank you. I think on behalf of the board, and I'll let any board member that would like to speak do so, we certainly do appreciate the wonderful acknowledgments that we have received from all of the schools and many of the students, as this is School Board Week. And we are very glad to serve, and we certainly do appreciate all the notes and gifts that we have received. And any board member like to express themselves, now's a good time to do it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Second that emotion.
All right. All right. Let's see. Approval of the agenda. Board members, you have seen a copy of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Thank you. Have a motion by Ms. Moore. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. LaRoche. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Communications? Ms. Trail?
Good evening and happy School Board Appreciation Week. So in addition to all the goodies that you have up on your podiums with you, the librarians, several of them sent books in your honor and have donated them to the library, so you can look through those. You can take them home, read them to your child, but bring them back to the schools because we want other children to read them as well. So happy School Board Week. We have a lot of guests tonight and lots of recognition, so kind of bear with me here. First of all, I want to start with Miss Donna Burke and Miss Rhonda Rivera. Oh, there they are. Okay, if y'all just stand up a second. These ladies are part of our transportation department. They drive buses, but they also are happy knitters and knit caps for not only Habitat for Humanity, right? I'm sorry, Journey Home, sorry, I got that wrong, and also for all those children that are on their buses that need a little bit of winter wear over Christmas. And so these ladies deserve a round of applause. So it's not like driving a bus isn't hard enough. Let's go ahead and do a little knitting on the side. We appreciate you. And it's that kind of compassion that really makes Murfreesboro City Schools unique, and we appreciate it. So thank you, ladies. Also, Macy Lynn O'Brien, there she is. Macy Lynn is a student from Northfield. You may want to come up here with me. You're a little shorter than maybe the adults. Macy Lynn, over Christmas time, went to the Tennessee, let me get this right, Tennessee Oncology, and delivered care bags to all of the patients that were having chemo during that time with lots of thank yous and hugs, and I know they appreciated them. So thank you so much for your acts of kindness. Macy Lynn is 4th grade? 3rd grade? Third grade at Northfield. So I know we've been highlighting some of our students, and these are things that they're doing outside of our schools, but it certainly shows the compassion that they have for others, and We appreciate you and all that you've done, and for your wonderful parents, because it takes parents to lead you in the right direction, right? Did you want to say anything? Okay, congratulations.
Why don't we ask her parents to stand so we can recognize them as well?
She became quite the little internet success over the holidays. I saw her picture several places with thank yous and people who received the bags putting it on their Facebook and everything. So we do appreciate those acts of kindness. Also, as we go through, we're talking about things of community service. I want to ask Ms. Kayla Woodley, with one of our Discovery teachers, to join me, and her partners with the Music City Trikes. You've got a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just play a video for you that explains the process and what happened right before Christmas first.
As they say, it's as easy as riding a bike. Well, for many children, it's not that simple. Second graders at Discovery School were learning about adaptive technology, which means helping children with disabilities do things that all kids enjoy, which includes riding a bike.
No matter their limitations physically, or if they have vision limitations or balance problems, we're going to find the bike that's right for them.
One of these specially designed bikes was recommended for a boy in the community by his physical therapist. As part of Kayla Mullen's second grade class project, the students helped build it.
We had a parent of a child that attends Discovery School approach us and say, my child is in a second grade class and they're learning about adaptive technology. Wouldn't this be a great opportunity for them to learn about adaptive cycling?
Learning about disabilities in the classroom and how those with special needs adapt, the tricycle idea fit in perfectly.
Today was our culminating project of taking a person from our community and helping them with an adaptive device that we built ourselves.
The sister of a boy in Mullen's class already has one of these bikes, and her mom says it means the world to her now that her whole family can enjoy this activity together.
Now she can actually go a little distance all on her own, so it allows her to be independent and be able to ride where she wants to. Not always where I want her to go to. She can start to go places that she wants to go.
Mullen says this project exceeded her expectations and that the empathy shown from her students is truly touching.
When they found out about the 3-year-old boy that we were building the bike for, they fell in love with him, and they wanted to do all they could. So it was really powerful for them to engineer and build the devices and then be able to give it to that child.
Mullen now has plans to do a similar project every year, and it wasn't just her class, but Discovery School's entire second grade that helped.
Bringing empathy learning into all of second grade, it's been the best project. It's been the best.
These bikes cost $600 each, and there are currently over 100 children in Rutherford County on the wait list. For more information, including how you can donate, visit www.musiccitytrikes.org. Reporting for City TV, Michael Lynn White.
Hold on one second, let me get off this screen. We want to make sure that we thank City TV and Michael Lynn White for telling our story. We also have the Kearns family with us tonight, who actually is part of the bike, received the bike. So, Kayla, I'm going to give you the microphone and let you kind of finish the details, okay?
So I'm inviting the family that we connected with Music City Trikes. First of all, thank you for having us here. We want to also thank our family and Miss Ashley Schilling from Music City Trikes. Can you come stand with me, please? Thank you. So we started a partnership this year with our second graders at Discovery School and Music City Trikes in Nashville. And we took our science standards and our culture standards and our empathy standards and fit them into a project to benefit a child in need in our community. So Ariana, who is Quentin's little sister, he is in my class. Ariana is demonstrating a trike from Music City Trikes. It's an adaptive bicycle that fits her needs. Good job, Ariana. Good job.
Oh, great job.
Yeah.
So we are super excited to be working with Music City Trikes, and we are planning on making a lasting partnership with them and our second graders at Discovery.
And quick correction, there are not 100 kids in Rutherford County waiting. There are 100 kids in Middle Tennessee waiting. And the bikes range from 600, the little ones, but we go all the way up to big kid sizes. We have teenagers riding bikes, and they're about 1,500. And we're all volunteer, nonprofit organization, and we're so, so grateful to Murfreesboro City Schools and especially Discovery for welcoming us in like this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys can't see her, but she is over here clapping away, so how cute. Stole the show there.
Lisa, can I interrupt just for a minute?
Absolutely.
This is so awesome. I am so impressed. I'm blown away. And what's interesting to me, I talked to a coworker today whose son is in Metro Nashville, and her son got in the car talking about, budgets, this or that, and they're learning that through their math teacher, which I thought was great. But I think it is so wonderful that our second graders are learning empathy and compassion, and not just how to make a living for myself, but how to care for somebody else. I'm going to stand up and clap for this group.
And the wonderful thing, Mr. Suttles, is we have this going on throughout our schools, so it's really nice to see. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Music City Trike. We appreciate you. Also, I want to do congratulations to Mary Pat Allen. She is our art teacher at Discovery. She was highlighted as one of the MTSU's Saturdays at Todd artists. She had charcoal art that was showcased at the Todd Art Gallery this past weekend. So congratulations to Mary Pat Allen. Also, Murfreesboro City Schools and John Pittard Elementary, thrilled to announce that 5th grade math and science teacher Kyle Cantrell, Kyle, there he is, stand up. This is our stand-up night. So Kyle has been named as an extraordinary educator for Curriculum Associates. Curriculum Associates named 31 members nationwide. And so Kyle was one of those, so congratulations, and I think your family's here with you. So if we can get you guys to stand, because, again, it's a whole family thing. So congratulations. Thanks for making Murfreesboro City, stand out. Well, now we go to a different performance. We also have all of these children from Bradley here. Bradley Academy just competed once again at the Junior Theater Festival. I'm going to ask Mr. Torres to come up and talk about that a little bit, and then Mr. Graham's going to introduce the students and give us a little bit of taste of what they were able to do over the week.
I'm going to leave most of the talking about the JTF experience to Mr. Grimm, so we'll call him up in a moment. But I'm definitely excited and proud to be able to be here tonight and to just recognize my students. This is the Bradley Academy Drama Club. They've worked quite a bit, rehearsing, practicing throughout the week, making props, working on costumes. They do quite a bit. They really get the full drama experience at Bradley Academy. So Mr. Grimm, our drama teacher, I'm going to have him come up now. He's going to talk, he'll introduce the club members, and then he will talk a bit about JTF. I wasn't there, so I probably am not the best person to speak on that, so that's why we got Mr. Grimm.
Good evening. Yes, we did just come back from JTF, Junior Theater Festival. It's held every year in Atlanta, and our students got to compete with over 170 other theater troupes from around the world. They take master classes from Broadway stars, and let me introduce our cast. We have Penelope, Lydia, Kalia, Layla, Jessica, Elena, Markel, Kelsey, sorry, I don't know why I want to call you Casey, Jaden, and Zaria. And they get to perform a 15-minute showcase of any musical from MTI. and we chose Annie this year, and they would like to perform as a thank you to all of you, their finale number.
The sun'll come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow takes away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. Let's look at the day that's gray and lonely. I stick on my chin and grin and say, oh, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you're always a day away. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you're always a
And like I said, they do compete, and Markel won Best Outstanding Performance as an individual out of 7,000 people.
Repeat that last part. I think we got crowded out a little bit about somebody winning.
Yes, Markel, he won Best Outstanding Performance as an individual out of almost 7,000 people.
And this is Mr. Grimm's first year here, and he has done a fantastic
Wow,
job.
excellent.
He is amazing. He's
Yeah.
amazing. These books, as Lisa Trail mentioned earlier, these are dedicated through you guys, but we would like to have those back at some point in the near future to read to our students. Hey, thank you all for letting us come tonight.
I gotta go read this.
Sun will come out tomorrow, in case you weren't aware of that.
Markel's such a good actor, he didn't even break, like,
Yeah, no.
it's no big deal that I got that. No big deal. I also want to go ahead and announce our Teachers of the Year for Murfreesboro City Schools. We will make the district announcement on Thursday as far as who the district teachers are. But for Discovery School, Teresa McCarthy and Kelly Kleppinger. From John Pittard Elementary, Deborah Collier and Molly Oliver. Cason Lane Academy, Shay Wilson and Latasha McFarland. Salem Elementary, Kenzie Johnson and Cynthia Martin. Overall Creek Elementary, Sarah Brown and Christy Honey. Scales Elementary, Kimberly Hicks and Azamare Pozo. Bradley Academy, Abby Sanders and Reagan Clark. Erma-Siegel Elementary, Brandy Cheatham and Margaret Lane. Reeves Rogers Elementary, Renee Marcho and Danielle Johnson. Black Fox Elementary, Kim Gamble and Meredith Patram. Northfield Elementary, Judy Greiton and Rachel Bjork. Hobgood Elementary, Terry Guess and Corinne York. And then Mitchell Nielsen School, Heather Conyer-Curie and Beverly Sanford. So that's a lot of great, outstanding teachers. We will have the district celebration for the Teachers of the Year on March 24th at Oakland's Mansion. And again, on Thursday, we will be announcing the district Teachers of the Year. We would also like to recognize our Assistant City Attorney, Elizabeth Taylor, for being chosen for the Tennessee Bar Association's 2020 Leadership Law Program. So Elizabeth is out tonight, but congratulations to her. Teresa Witzman and Christy Honey have been selected to present at the State Tennessee STEM Conference, May 4th and 5th at the Nashville Convention Center. Don Barch has also been selected to present at the State TSIN Conference, May 4th and 5th. And then Leah Barch and Cherry Ross have been selected to present at the National Science Teachers Association National Convention during spring break in Boston. Roxana Dove, Jernica Frazier, and Ashley Love are presenting with the Tennessee Department of Education at the Partners in Education Conference this week. Roxana and Jernica are presenting Exploring the Itinerant Model of Services for Preschool Students, and Ashley is presenting Together We Learn Better. Dr. Linda Gilbert will be presenting a session with the Lebanon Superintendent Scott Benson, Lawrence County Superintendent Johnny McDaniel, and Kim Frank at the TOSS Legislative and Learning Conference on February 5th. The session is titled Effective Strategies of Social Emotional Learning. Angela Boomy with Discovery School recently won the Battelle Education TSIN STEM-X Classroom Grant, sponsored by TVA and BVI. This grant was in the amount of $2,500 for the project Greenhouse Challenge Farmer versus Bot. Hobgood Elementary was recently awarded the TVA STEM grant in the amount of $5,000. The grant was written by teacher Ms. Karen Shortridge and was entitled STEM-Based Augmented Reality Sandbox Project. Irma Siegel is receiving a TVA STEM grant for $5,000 entitled Stimulating Young Engineers. And Salem Elementary was awarded a TVA STEM grant for $3,500 entitled Bringing Design to Life Through 3D Printing. It was written by Kimberly Kale. These will all be presented in about a week by TVA, so we will definitely let you know when that's happening. Felicia Jackson with Overall Creek recently received the Giants of Electricity grant for $2,200. This grant covers the cost of a 2-day in-school theatrical performance and hands-on science-based workshop for 3rd graders at Overall Creek. Congratulations to Irma Siegel 5th grade student Sarah Young, who has been chosen by Poetic Power to be published in their upcoming poetry anthology. Murfreesboro City Schools would also like to thank an anonymous donor for their $1,000 donation to the Backpack Food Program. This is happening about annually over the Christmas holiday, so we appreciate that contribution. We'd also like to thank Mr. Richie Bolin and SW Contractors for donating $350 to purchase take-home math kits for the upcoming district-wide family game night on March 19th. Community Outreach would like to thank our community supporters for donations to the Indigent Care Fund, totaling $1,000 and $1,450 donated to the Backpack Food Program. We'd also like to thank Middle Tennessee Association of Realtors for their $500 donation to the Indigent Care Fund. Also, we'd like to thank the following community partners for providing our children and families with the 2019 season of sharing. The Band of Brothers, which is a part of the North Boulevard Church of Christ Outreach, General Mills or Yoplait Plant, Parks Realty, Murfreesboro Police Department, who did Shop with the Cop, and then the North Boulevard Youth Group, who did a 3 days of Christmas activities with our students. With the support of these partners, we were able to serve over 700 children and families during the holiday season. I want to really thank Mr. Lyles and his team for leading that effort, and also Mr. Williford and his team for helping make it happen. So thank you to all of those for helping us make a successful Christmas holiday for several of our families. Also, Mitchell-Nielsen would like to thank Alan Farley and his staff at Rutherford County Election Commission for their generous donation to the Mitchell-Nielsen Uniform Fund. Sorry, guys, I'm battling a cold tonight. And we'd like to thank all of our sponsors and those who were in attendance for the Excellence in Education Gala. We had a great event Friday night. We appreciate you guys for attending and supporting our foundation. It was a great success. We have a great board for our foundation, and I can't say enough about how they work hard to support our schools. I would like to say that we did make a large announcement, a big announcement, at the Foundation Gala. As of now, the foundation has given over $1 million back to our schools. So that's incredible, and I'm just feel so fortunate to be able to work with that group of people. So $1 million, that's nothing to sneeze about.
That's nice.
So finally, our first Chef Academy for this year's the first semifinal for the Chef Academy will be held on Monday, February 3rd at Mitchell-Nielsen. The schools competing are Mitchell Nilsson, Reeves Rogers, and Hobgood. If you would like to serve as a judge, we're always looking for judges. That is my communications, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. Some wonderful communication. I think we need to recognize Mr. Anderson pertaining to the audit report.
Yes, sir. We have with us this evening Mr. Andy Matlock with Matlock and Clements Auditors, and they do our annual audit for the school district, and they are here. Andy's here tonight to review the audit with you for this year that ended on June 30th, 2019.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here, and it's been a pleasure seeing all the recognitions and the performances. I'm not going to sing, but it's really a blessing for you guys. It was a blessing to listen to them sing, but it's also a blessing to not have me sing. I'm here to present, as Mr. Anderson alluded to, two audits. We have the internal school funds and then the overall board audit. First, I will start with the internal school funds. We issued our report dated October 22nd, 2019. And as he mentioned, this is for fiscal year ending June 30, 2019, so last school year. I know we're in the second half of this school year, and we've already started our planning with this school year's audit, but I'm talking about last school year's audit. We issued an unmodified opinion, which in auditor's term is a clean opinion. It's the best kind of opinion you can have, meaning the financial statements presented in all material specs. They presented fairly the assets, liabilities, and fund balances. In addition to that, we issued a clean report on the significant deficiencies, material weaknesses. There were no reportable findings whatsoever in that report. So that was also good news. The ending fund balance was a little under $800,000. The makeup of that, the general fund, $461,421, restricted fund, $337,111. With the internal school funds, it's a little different because we get out at the schools. We get to meet with the bookkeepers. We do bookkeeper meetings, training / just answering questions. We are the auditors, and no one is really happy about us being there. But we always try to help, and we have a good relationship, and we enjoy our relationship being out at the schools and being able to answer questions and give our opinion, feedback on the rules and regulations they have to follow. I don't have anything else on the internal school funds. I don't know if there are any questions on that audit report.
Any questions, Mr. Ballard?
On the internal, it says on page 70 of the report, in the other matters, it says we noted certain matters that we reported to management on the internal school funds on October 22nd.
Yes, so there's a separate letter that's not a reportable issue. It's addressed to the board. And then it's a minor non-compliance type issues. The manual that they have to follow is very, very nitpicky, to use a term. But so there are minor things that we pick up on and that we communicate with them, and we communicate in that letter. But to us, they don't warrant a reportable issue, and we kind of limit it to just a communication in a separate letter. So that's what that's in reference to. So there was a separate letter issued, but those findings did not warrant anything that needed to be in the report based on our judgment and communication.
So is there anything in the report that you would want to call the board's attention to?
No, sir. As I mentioned, there were no reportable findings whatsoever, no material noncompliance, nothing that would warrant any communication whatsoever.
Good. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, and then I'll jump into the second audit, the board. I call it the entire board audit. Obviously, it's the much larger audit, but we issued our report on that, dated November 26, 2019. And with that, we also issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion, which means the financial statements presented fairly, again, in all material specs, all the different funds, revenues, balance sheet, income statement for Murfreesboro City Schools. In addition, we did not identify any reportable findings, significant deficiencies, material weaknesses, material noncompliance in those. And also, since there's federal funds involved We have to issue a separate report for all major programs, and we did not identify any deficiencies, reportable issues with any of your major funds and programs. There's a lot more strict guidelines from the uniform guidance when it comes to all those federal funds, so there's a lot more audit programs and procedures that we have to follow and things we have to look at. Just a couple of financial highlights. So your net position as of June 30, 2019 was $77,500,995, meaning your assets and deferred outflows exceeded your liabilities and deferred inflows by that amount. Your change in net position from the previous year was a little under $10 million. Total governmental revenues were slightly under $89 million, and they were up $2 million from the previous year. One of the major things identified in the report, your construction in progress totaled a little over $28 million as of June 30, 2019, obviously because of the construction of Salem Elementary. And then in this current year, that will be moved out of construction in progress and will become a depreciable fixed asset. Are there any questions with that audit?
Sounds like a winner.
Yes, overall, I believe no findings in either report. I would call it that. Thank you very much for having me. We appreciate being able to do this and to work with you. And thank you for having us here.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it very much. Mr. Anderson?
Yes, if I could, and she doesn't know this, Beth Prater is here. She is the finance manager. So, Beth, if you would stand up, since everybody's standing up tonight, she's the one who's behind making sure all these things work.
Yeah, she's the brain.
I've never embarrassed her like that before. So
And you won't, and you probably won't again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate you being here. All right. Let's look at consent items. Do we have a motion to approve the consent items as printed?
Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Settlers. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. All right, action items.
Your first action item is a slight change in the calendar. This will not impact parents or children, but it's an internal change. We would like to have the district in-service at MTSU again this year because we found that to be very effective. To do that, we need to shift the school-based workday and the district in-service. You voted to have the school-based workday on July the 27th, which is a Monday, and the in-service on July 28th, which is Tuesday, and we just like to flip-flop those days so that we have the in-service on Monday the 27th and the school-based workday on the 28th. I did contact all the principals and heard back from, I think, all of them, and actually 3 or 4 of them said they really like that day that better, so that works well. So we do need your approval for that, please.
Mr. LaRoche?
That means that now the kids are going to have a 3-day weekend that week, or do I have it backwards?
No, it doesn't affect the children at all.
Okay.
It's strictly just the teachers. So instead of going to their schools,
Gotcha.
they'll go to the MTSU that morning first thing.
Okay. We need a motion to approve the new calendar as printed.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you very much.
Chairman, could I ask a question of Dr. Gilbert?
can.
Since we voted on this last time, I have had somebody question me about, is there any way that we can do away or decrease our snow days that we have?
No, what happens with that is all across the state now you have that time made up, so you can't. In fact, we actually got an opinion on that last year because I wrote about that, but we can't do that.
Okay.
They won't let us stop school early because of that.
Okay, all right.
All right, next item.
Okay, Sherry?
Good evening, Board. The instruction department is in the beginning phases of the reading adoption that is going to take place right now, really, and we're getting samples in as we speak. So I come before you tonight asking that you approve the selection committee. Dr. Dodson has done a fabulous job looking at these teachers. I think there's 26 of them
And there's anywhere from 3 years experience to 28 years experience. She has been in their classrooms, and they're all excellent ELA teachers. So we feel very confident in the group that she has proposed here, and I ask that you approve this tonight.
Any questions on the adoption committee?
No question, a comment. I don't know when that would be appropriate.
It is appropriate.
You know, of course, I know so many of these teachers, and there are so many good reading teachers on this, and I just hope that everybody understands how important it is that we got so many teachers telling us that they want something else and need something else. And so I just hope that they take that in consideration with whatever they decide.
I think they're a great committee, and I think they will do a wonderful job.
Any other discussion on the adoption committee? We need to vote to approve the adoption committee, so do I have a motion to approve the adoption committee?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Barton. We have a second.
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. That's not an easy job to get a group together. All right, approval of new buses.
Yes, sir. Every year we have to look at our bus fleet and determine if a bus has gone over the mileage or over the years that it can have service under the state laws. We have 2 buses that will be retiring at the end of this school year. And for us to get buses in on time, they have to be ordered in February for us to have them in July. There's a big, long lead time to make these buses. So what we're asking is for you to approve us to purchase 2 new buses now. We will not pay for them until the next fiscal year, but we have to get the order in now. And here's the good news about this one is if we get the order to them before February 6th, we can get the same price as what we paid this past year. So I'm asking, so we need 2, we need the same size buses, 90 passenger buses. We don't need any special ed buses this year, just big ones to replace the ones going out of service. We're asking that you approve us to go ahead and give them the purchase order to get going on construction of those new buses. And like I said, they'll come in July. We will not pay for them until the next fiscal year, but we got to place the order now to get them in time. So we're asking for approval of that.
Is that included in this year's budget, or will be included in next year's budget?
It's going to be in next year's budget. We are having this year's budget, the ones that already came in July.
Okay. Mr. LaRoche?
Does this include the trade-in value of the old buses?
We don't trade in buses. They don't want them because they can't use them for school student transportation. We like to convert them into chow buses and book buses, and the value of the bus to some organizations on like $4,000 or $5,000. So I'd rather convert it, since we've taken care of those buses and we just can't transport kids, but we can use them as portable classrooms by having the chow buses and the others.
Okay. Mr. Settles?
The seatbelt thing hasn't come back up again, has it?
We haven't heard anything in addition to what we've heard in the past. Nothing's been brought up. I haven't heard anything in legislation. Dr. Gilbert, I don't know if you've heard anything in your TOS meetings. We have not heard anything yet on it. So I'm thinking it's not on this year's agenda for the legislators.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the purchase of new buses?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
That's the
Have a
one.
second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. LaRoche. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, reports and information, personnel report.
You have the personnel report before you. If you have any questions, please give me a call or give Mr. Ringstaff a call. And Mr. Anderson, the PTR is yours.
May I ask a question that wouldn't be specific? I was just curious. That seems like a lot of resignations, retirements, and terminations for this time of year. How does that
Actually,
compare?
it's going to compare pretty well with the rest. What we're seeing is people that their spouses are getting jobs. You're seeing some that are having to take care of parents, so it's not an unusual number.
Okay, any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the personnel report?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Settles. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Enrollment report?
Yes, in your board packet is the enrollment for the 5th period, which ended on January 24th. So this is as current data as we can get for you. And we're continuing to grow. We've grown since the end of last year, 304 students in the district. We're now at 9,259 students. We did feel an impact on attendance for the flu bug, and we dropped to 94, and as you know, usually we're about 96, so we had a drop in that. Our pupil-teacher ratio is remaining on average of 19.85 through all grade levels, but we continue to grow. We'll hear about the growth money that the state determines, and again, that's unknown at this point, but we'll hear about it usually the second week of February. And so we'll know if, and we should be in line for growth money this year based on a number of increased students that we have.
Okay. Question, Ms. Moore?
What time period does this cover, through the end of the 5th period? Is that right before winter break?
It ended January 24th.
January 24th, okay.
Any other questions? Have a motion to approve the personnel report, the enrollment report?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. All right.
Next, the revenue and expenditure report. Since you did not meet in December, we included November's report for you. But the December report, if I could just talk about that one since it's the most recent, it's the 50-year percent of the school year. And our property tax collection was up $99,000 over last year at this time. And as you know, ending in December, there's still, people don't have to pay till the end of February. So we still have hopes for that, increasing even more. Our sales tax collections are up $175,636 over the end of over last year at this time. So we're still increasing in those areas. It's where we do not have the holiday sales yet, and that's always the biggest. We usually get that in the January and the February data, and then in the March and April we get the property tax total information. So we're still, we're behind. We're still in the red. We haven't gone above that line yet, but we're working our way towards it.
Okay. Any questions? Have a motion to approve the report?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sellers. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. LaRoche. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none.
Thank you.
All right. Trying to get my computer to work. Mr. Ballard?
Yep. I know we approved the policies, and one of those was family leave. And I had a question when I was going through it. As far as the family leave, that's for 12 weeks. Is that taken in a block of 12 weeks, or can that be actually broken up to 2 or 3 days at a time?
I will find that out for you.
Okay. I read something that brought that question to me, was that there were situations where the family leave policy was being used in that way, and I didn't think it was meant to be, if someone had a sickness or was sick in their family and they wanted to take care of someone, that they could do it in break that up in smaller amounts. That may be wrong, but.
Well, and I want to be sure that I give you the right answer on that, so I'll have Mr. Ringstaff get in touch with you.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. I'd be interested in knowing, because that seems like that'd be a real tough management issue.
Anything else come before the board? Ms. Trail?
I'm so sorry. I forgot to announce our job fair is coming up, and my apologies. I was trying to text you guys. February 8th at Scales is our MCS teacher job fair, and it's from 9:30 until 11:30. So teacher applicants, we're needing you.
And I'll say that back to the gala, that Lisa and Tori don't get enough credit for what goes on behind the scenes for that. So you don't have to stand for applause, but but
No, let's make her stand.
it went off, you know, like it was just like a walk in the park, and it's not a walk in the park. I mean, these people work out. She probably got 10 hours sleep last week total getting this thing ready to go. So anyway, we need to show some love for what goes on behind the scenes, and it pays off because it was a great fundraiser. We did very well with that. So thank you,
And
Lisa.
Saturday
Tori.
morning, she was at another event, so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The committee with
I married
Brooke
up, what can I say?
Yeah, Brooke LaRoche, yeah.
and
It was a good
Stephanie
event,
Roach.
well attended.
Yeah. We even had some celebrities show up on screen, didn't we? With
James Carville.
James Carville and
Yeah.
George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
They were there.
Noticed those.
So it was great.
All right, anything else? Therefore, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Second, Ms. Moore, thank you, and good night.